The second week of the season brought our second straight win against Del Valle. Within hours of our jubilant celebration, as we woke up on that Saturday morning, the unthinkable news started to trickle in to the McNeil community. This news would affect us all in many different ways. While driving back home to Austin from Lubbock, we lost former McNeil students Kylie and Ryan Murphy. Kylie spent time each Friday night performing as a Majestic. And of course, Ryan spent his Friday nights as a 3-year varsity math football player. Many of the juniors and seniors sitting right here knew Ryan, and they got to see him on a daily basis. The Booster Club, working with Coach Mack, wanted to create a special award that would honor the lasting memory of Ryan. This Ryan Murphy Teammate Award will honor the varsity player who best exhibits the 10 characteristics of being a good teammate. Those are reliability, positive attitude, actively participates, trustworthiness, selflessness, respectfulness, being a good listener, involves others, coachability, and finally encourages others. This award each year will be voted on by the varsity football team. And the award will be presented at the banquet each year. The trophy will be displayed prominently throughout the year for all to see and all to strive for. Freshmen, JV, you will strive to win the Ryan Murphy Teammate Award. Pat Murphy, Ryan's father, is here with us tonight. We are so honored to have him here among his Mav Nation family. And now, to present the first Ryan Murphy Teammate Award, it is my pleasure to introduce my former high school teammate, but more importantly, my friend, Pat Murphy.
Can you hear me? Thanks for having me here. As you can understand, this is extremely difficult for me and Michelle. Michelle wishes she could be here tonight, but she is here in spirit. This community has really taken care of us through these last 3 months. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Pat Murphy. I'd first like to thank Rick and the Booster Club and Coach Mack for this honor. Coach Mack didn't have the opportunity to coach Ryan, but he felt that Ryan had affected the school and community deeply enough to tribute him in this way that'll go on for years. Also want to publicly thank Coach Guillory. He was part of Ryan's life for 4 years here at McNeil. Although we did not know each other well, I knew of him through Ryan and what an impact this man had on Ryan's life. His tribute to Ryan at the memorial service was a blessing to my family. I'm deeply thankful that he was part of Ryan's life. All of his parents should count our blessings to have such a great man in person mentoring our young men. When Rick asked me to present this first Ryan Murphy Teammate Award, I was happy. Ryan touched the McNeil family so deeply to honor his name. So these last few weeks I've struggled to come up with the right words. How does someone honor the most precious thing in their life with words? I decided it's impossible for me to tell you about how Michelle and I felt about Ryan. You parents can look at your sons and you'll know. Since this is the first award, and a lot of you may have not known Ryan, I want to tell you about him. I'm going to take the opportunity to do that. 7th grade, his coach put him on the B team. Said he was fast, but he was a little too small, so maybe he should take up track. Well, he came home very disappointed and said, "Dad, how can I get better?" And you'll hear later this becomes a theme that repeats itself over and over in his life. You fast forward 5 years, he's the best receiver and kick returner in the district. He's going on to play college football. It didn't just happen. He had to work. He couldn't control how tall he was, but he could control everything else. There's no doubt Ryan was a good football player. All the touchdowns, the district awards, the catches, the kick returns, and the Friday Night Magic is well known to those that watched him play. Coach Roberts once told me that Ryan had a rare gift. He was just as fast and agile in his pads as out of them. But this award's not about statistics and touchdowns. There's plenty of those awards to honor those things. The teammate award is a lot more than that. It's about family, hard work, success, failure, and how one conducts themselves and interacts with their brothers and coaches. Sometimes parents think they know what's going on inside the team, but really, the only ones who truly know the team are the coaches and players. Nobody else really matters. I can't pretend to stand up and tell you what kind of teammate Ryan was. I wasn't there during the 100-degree days, those summer 7 a.m. workouts, or the locker room during the wins or losses. I can only relay to you what I've been told by others, and it was that Ryan made them smile. It's not that complicated. His goal every day was to have fun and make someone else smile and have fun as well. We should all be so lucky to have a daily interaction with someone so special. All they want from you is a laugh and a smile. He was typically the last one out of the locker room for games or practice, because he was always talking and goofing around with the guys instead of suiting up. It's not quite captain material, but when he'd finally get halfway dressed out, Coach Pendle was standing in the doorway, yelling at him on the outside, but laughing on the inside, and he'd jog out to the field. Shoes untied, shoulder pads unstrapped, and jersey halfway on. He'd have to stop at the softball field, look over the fence and yell at Coach McLean and tell her she looked so beautiful today in the sunlight. She'd tell him, "Thank you, Ryan, now get to practice." As he'd run by Coach Newton, he'd rub his head and ask him if he'd like to borrow some of his hair. Smile, yeah, check the box. But it wasn't always about fun and smiles. When he crossed the white line, he was 100% work. So much so that we had to get into the emergency room with bags of fluid to relieve the body cramps. He practiced hard to get better. I read a post online. A young man may even be in this cafeteria tonight. He was a sophomore and Ryan was on varsity, so they didn't know each other very well. Without going into all the details, and I'm going to clean the language up a little bit, this young man was getting blocked all day and blocked hard. So bad he got pulled. He went to the sideline very discouraged when Ryan came up to him and says, "Hey man, if Coach asked you to get back out there and get your butt kicked, would you do it?" This young man grinned and said, "Yeah," and Ryan told him, "Good, and you belong on this team. Just keep working." And as the coach called Ryan back out on the field, he looked back at the kid and he yelled also, "Have fun with it. It's football. Everybody gets their butt kicked sometime." The evening of Ryan and Kylie's memorial, there was a candlelight vigil here at the school. After the vigil was over, I was walking out and 3 young men stopped me in the hallway and asked if they could share Ryan's story with me. If you knew Ryan, this could go one way or the other, but I gladly said yes. Ryan was older. They told me how much they respected him. And the day when they were on JV, sitting in the locker room, Ryan didn't know them, but he was walking by and he said, "Hey, you guys, come on, we're going out to the field to get some work in. Y'all come with us and get better." They were so glad an upperclassmen would include them. Later on during the season, JV would run scout. This one particular kid had to cover Ryan. He said every time they broke the huddle, Ryan would look over, run over the line, look at him and say, "Here I come. I'm going to make you better." He was lightly recruited, too small in their minds. He's kid's tough. He's got some quicks about him. He can catch and break and kick return. Good athlete, but these other kids are 6'2", so we're going with him. He didn't commit to UMHB until April. Head coach never even came to see him. It was the offensive coordinator that wanted him, but by April they'd already maxed out their spots. But they let him come anyway because they thought eventually he could play for them. These guys played for national championships, not for the fun of it. When he showed up, they wanted to send him a message. They put up the roster. Over 150 players, 30 receivers. Ryan was dead last on the roster. He was mad, but he didn't tell anybody. Not even me. He just got to work. 2 weeks later, he was one of the 5 freshmen in the varsity locker room, backup slot receiver, on a charter plane headed to California to play his first college game. His head coach called me shortly after the accident, told me the first time he met Ryan was on the practice field. Ryan walked up to him, introduced himself to the head coach, and told him, "My name's Ryan Murphy. I'm going to make us better." Anyone who knew Ryan knew his fun side, always the laugh, the smile, getting someone else in a good mood as he was. When he got you to the smile, he won. You knew it, and so did he. But there was deep determination in him to succeed. About 45 days after their accident, I had to go do what no parent should ever have to do. I went up to Lubbock to pack and pick up Ryan and Kylie's belongings and bring them home. I was not prepared for the emotional toll that trip took on me. I was devastated when I got home. I put his bed back where it had been and then laid down to cry. And I looked up at the ceiling. I saw a sign that Ryan had written to himself and taped to that ceiling. "Did you get better today?" Those 5 simple words that have so much meaning to me now. It requires honest self-reflection and hope at the same time. It's just you evaluating you. I talk to him every night when I go to bed. And we use his motto as a guide to our healing. Most nights the answer is no, I did not get better, but Michelle and I are trying. Anyone can ask themselves if they got better today. Was I a better parent, coach, teacher? Was I better at work? A better friend, classmate, or student? If not, for us there's always tomorrow. Make someone smile, help them get better. That's who Ryan Murphy was. So to present the first Ryan Murphy Teammate Award, Thomas Sullivan.
Thanks, Pat. And Pat has donated a lot of towels that say this slogan for the Math Locker Room. Did you get better today? We really appreciate it. Pat, you're always welcome. You're always a Math.